I'm going to tell you guys what I did to send my first V12, and we're starting right now. Hey guys, it's Bryan with some more Bomber Beta. If you guys like climbing hard stuff, consider subscribing because that's all I talk about. Before I get started, I came out here to film this today, and it's extremely windy. So I'm in this cave, and I'm holding my microphone in my hand, really close to my mouth. So I hope the audio turns out well, but if it doesn't, that's fine because most of my videos that have gotten like over 1,000 views have horrible windy audio, so maybe that's my secret sauce. And one more disclaimer, in this video I'm going to tell you guys kind of what I did to send my first V12, and a lot of you guys have seen that video already. If you haven't yet, go ahead and check out the thing that pops up there. It's a trip that I did to Washington, really cool boulder. But if you guys are looking for me to tell you like one secret trick or like give you some kind of cookie cutter training plan, I can't do that for you. I feel like the process that I took and the tactics that I used to get to this point and to push through arguably some of the lowest points in my climbing career, to turn it around and be where I'm at right now, I would say it's not something that I can really give you guys a formula on. I haven't really gone to the gym. I haven't done a whole lot of training. I've just been climbing, and I'm gonna kind of tell you guys like what it took to get to my point, to get to this point, and I'm gonna tell you kind of what it was like and the mental aspect of it. I think in climbing, a lot of us think that the strength component is what's holding us back, but I think for most of us, it's actually the most important thing in climbing is the thing between your ears. It's your mind can really get you anywhere that you want it to, and you guys just have to be able to push yourself to that point. Okay, so now for some story time. I'm going to run you guys through the past, about 6 months of my life here, and even a little bit before that. So a lot of you guys know this, but the whole year of 2020, I lived in a van traveling around the U.S. Maybe not the best year to pick to live in a van, but it just happened to work out that way. Started living in a van January 2020, before any of this pandemic stuff was going on. And we left Chattanooga, Tennessee, the place that we'd lived for about 2 years, and we hit the road. And first place we came was out here to Red Rocks in Las Vegas, Nevada. Little did I know, a year later I was going to be living here full time, which is pretty spectacular. And I'll talk a little bit about that later, but I was feeling pretty good the first couple months that we were in the van, and then the pandemic happened, and obviously things went from being chill and carefree to like kind of sucking. It was pretty hard. My climbing took a big hit. I was kind of on an up. I think I'd done like 2 V11s in like 3 weeks, literally right before like the president got on the TV and was like, y'all gotta stop going outside and doing all this stuff. So that sucked, and being on the road, being mobile, it was really hard to stay in shape, and a lot of the outdoor climbing spots were closing. There was a big social push for people not to go climbing outside, and that was really difficult. I kind of tried my best, and we tried to make it work, but we had to spend about a month or two not really climbing a whole lot, and that really took me down a lot. I'm not gonna lie. It was a rough time. I mean, and I think everybody that's watching this video can relate to that in some degree. That this whole entire last year was kind of hard for us, and so we tried to do as much as we could, and we climbed a lot last year. We did, and I climbed fairly well, But I got a finger injury in the summer sport climbing that kind of stuck with me, and I'll get a little more into that. But yeah, a lot of this video is going to be about just like pushing through adversity and trying to get to a point where you want to be. One thing that's really hard is when you're not performing at your limit or where you want to be performing, you have to keep on pushing to kind of try to get there to where you want to be, and it can be really hard to stay motivated and all that. So fast forward to around Christmas time 2020, we made it all the way back to Florida with the intentions of moving to Las Vegas come like January 1st or so. So we spent like 2 weeks visiting family and all that, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to this, but spending time with family over the holidays is not exactly the best way to stay in shape for climbing. And also driving for 3 days across the country, moving a bunch of stuff, not sleeping right, not eating right, is also not a good way to stay in good shape. It just isn't. And I found myself, I showed up here, I actually came to this spot. This is Red Springs. Now you guys can't tell because I'm literally hiding in this cave from the wind. I came here the first day that we got here, and I tried a V7 and I couldn't do it. Monkey wrench. I bet like half the people watching this channel have done that climb. I couldn't do it. I did end up coming back a few weeks later and getting it, but yeah, I got shut down that day. I came up and tried ultraviolet, which is like kind of like right over there. It's like an 8, maybe 8, 9, something like that. I could barely even do a move on it. And this was kind of like, it was really hard to swallow. It was a really hard pill to swallow because at this point I was expecting to be projecting V12s because that's what I wanted to do. There was quite a few V12s that I wanted to do in Red Rock specifically, and I was unable to do a V7 first day I was here. And sometimes it's just a bad day, something like that, but this went on for a while. I was struggling just to get 8s and 9s. And some of you might be saying, oh well, like I wish that I like could get an 8 or a 9, but it's all relative. Like it's, for me, that wasn't the level that I wanted to be at, and it was really hard. And dare I throw around the D word, depression, but yeah, it was borderline for sure. I was definitely at a low point in my climbing, and it was really hard to push through. I can say the main thing that I used to try to actually get better at climbing was just never quitting. I kept showing up. Not to steal the words out of Dave McLeod's mouth, but I just kept showing up and kept trying to push it. And I turned my focus away from projects, and I started trying to just go out and climb stuff. And so I was making a lot of solo trips to like little low balls, just trying to get up stuff, get on top of things, because sometimes when you're in a slump, you just have to top out some boulders. You have to get some sends under your belt and push through, and you have to keep up with it too. Like, to get better at climbing, you got to do a lot of dirty work. You gotta go on long hikes. You gotta walk uphill. You gotta maybe warm up, maybe carry stuff so that you can warm up because there's no warm-ups there. And then after you're done climbing, you probably got to do a hangboard session, and you gotta get the mat out, lay on the ground, and do 30 minutes of core work after you've been climbing for 4 or 5 hours that day, and you're tired and you're hungry and you're wrecked, but you got to put in the work. And that's what I did. I actually had an idea for a video, and I was trying to correlate my my pulling strength. I have this device that you can squeeze, and it tells you how many pounds you've generated. And I was trying to correlate that with my climbing performance. And this was like in January when I was pretty much at a low point. And one thing that I did was I recorded how I felt that morning when I woke up. 1 out of 5, just purely subjective. And, I looked at it after like 3 or 4 weeks of doing it. And I don't think I ever put over a 3 out of 5 that whole month. And part of it was going to be like, oh, well, if I pulled really hard that morning, maybe, I would send that day. Well, I really barely sent anything that entire month or two, so the whole video was kind of trash, so I didn't even end up making it. And maybe I will in the future, but yeah. So I'm at a low point, but I'm meeting a lot of nice people. The level of climbing out here is absurd. One thing that I did was I went and I met a friend, and she knew all the beta on this climb called Book of Nightmares. It was an 11-12, and I was like, yo, that looks like a sick climb. Like, I don't know any of the beta. Like, let's go out there. So we went out there, and I think I'd done all the moves the first day, and I was feeling good. Had another couple sessions on it, and then that nagging finger injury that I had from the past summer popped back up again. And I've talked about that. I made a video about that situation, and you guys can find that up here, and how I kind of rehabbed that in a very express manner, mainly because it wasn't a serious injury, but it was enough to not let me climb at my limit for sure. So I sustained that injury about a week and a half before my brother was going to fly down here for a little climbing trip. And, I have a long history of just like smashing boulders when my brother and I climbed together. So I was really bummed that I was injured. So I did literally everything that I could. I did a very aggressive recovery plan. And like I said, you guys can find that video. I'll link it in the description as well. But what I did to try to get healthy in a very accelerated way, and it ended up working out. And I sent a very hard boulder, and it was my first really hard boulder that I sent the season. And it's called Frigid Air, and it gets a V12 in the book. We didn't think it warranted that. We thought it was maybe like an 11, maybe a 10 even. But it was a hard boulder. It was a hard boulder for myself, and I was proud to get on top of it, and I thought, okay, I can do this. Like I'm in a good spot. I can make progress here. So shortly thereafter, like he was only here a couple days, so we had to make it out to Black Velvet. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Black Velvet, but it is one of the sickest areas in the world, and it hosts some of the best boulder problems in the world. Arguably the most famous one is Sleepwalker, and we'll get into that a little bit later here. But we show up out there, and Wet Dreams is right there, V12, ultra classic, just beautiful climb. It just like it's honest, I've never seen a climb that good in my entire life, and I don't know if I ever will see another climb that's that good. But we got on it. It was my first day on it. I think early March. Thinking the season's winding down. And we go out there, and like I said, like Sleepwalker's back there. It's on that boulder, and I'm climbing on the same boulder as Daniel Woods, Jimmy Webb, Sean Rabitou, Taylor McNeil. They have camera crews, stuff like that. Here's little old me trying a V12, and I am by far the weakest climber at this boulder. A humbling experience, but I don't know why, but I was extremely inspired by this, and I kicked it into another gear. And this is early March, and now it's like full-blown summer. And spoiler alert, I didn't send Wet Dreams, but I have over 30 sessions on it by now. And during those sessions, watching literally the best climber in the world try the hardest boulder in the world, just humbling experience. And no, I did not see him send Return of the Sleepwalker. Nobody did. He was by himself. And I did go out there that day. He was out there, and he just smashed the low start to Wet Dreams after like 3 tries, and I sprayed him down and spotted him. And it was a very cool experience. And I have to say that I learned a lot just watching him, because he's such a perfectionist at climbing. It's amazing. And honestly, he's unparalleled. Like, there's no one else that I've ever seen that has that type of dedication and that commitment to the process. But yeah, it was humbling to watch him, do that, and it gave me the inspiration to keep showing up. I was basically on a schedule of try it, rest, try it, rest, try it, rest. And the funny part is I wasn't even close. Like, I didn't even link the top and the bottom together for probably the first 20 sessions. But I just kept on going. I don't know why, actually. I just kept showing up. It was just so inspiring. That boulder just gave me like this, it returned all the passion that I ever had in climbing and doubled it. It just was, and if you guys can find something like that, like just do it, do it. But I can't say that your experience will be like mine. But so, I said I never sent Wet Dreams, and I hope that I have a video where I send it sometime early this winter, maybe late this winter or something like that. I don't really know. We'll just have to see. But I did send a hard boulder. I took a trip to see my brother in Washington, and I'm it's like a couple days before. I'm still like every other day, like out there on Wet Dreams, just sieging it. And I don't really know like what fitness level I'm in, but my brother had done this climb a couple weeks before I got there, called All the Above, and it's a V12, and it's this really sick compression, just nails hard compression to this like high ball kind of vertical face. And first day I got there, the weather was good, and in where it is in Index, is the weather is typically not good. It's either rainy or it's hot, and it just happened to not be rainy, and it was cold. And I was like, dude, we're going. And so we set up a top rib on this thing. It's a high ball. It's like you really can't fall on the top of this thing. It's just, you're not walking out of there if you fall. So I probably did the top maybe 20 times that day. Maybe I think it clocks in maybe around V4, but you're up to 30 feet off the deck, and the landing's talused and sloping. So yeah, you just really got to have it dialed. So I kind of worked that all out and tried the bottom moves, and I didn't link anything, but my psych was high. And one of my goals this year was just to flash a V10, and I used some tactics to make that happen. Well, first off was my brother had done it, and we share a lot of climbing characteristics, so it was very nice to have him just spray me down. And it's called Johnny Appleseed at the JY Boulders, and it's a V10, and I flashed it, and it was, one of just the purest, like, just I did every move right. I can't really explain how that happened, because going from literally, like, I'm looking right at it, I'm not going to turn the camera around, but Monkey Wrench, V7, maybe 4 months before this, literally couldn't do it, shut down, and to just go and smash this V10, like, first go, like, flash, like, that's insane. I mean, it was quite a magical moment, and you know, I was on cloud nine, and the next day we were heading back out to all the above, and yeah, I mean, I'll play it right now on the screen, but yeah, I found another gear, I found another level, and you know, got through the hard part and chalked up, reset, and topped this thing out. And like, it was just like the purest, just most epic form of joy, like doing those top moves, just like perfection. I don't know, like, it just the excellence that you have to do that is just something, like, when it's at your limit and when it's just like there's no margin for error. It's just one of the greatest feelings in the world, just to truly, you know, perform at your peak. I mean, that was it, you know. And I don't think it's going to be my last peak, but it was definitely my peak at the time, and it still is when I'm recording this video. But yeah, I showed up. I just kept showing up. I never stopped working, never stopped trying to get better at climbing. I made sure that every day I did something to make myself better at climbing. Whether it's skin management, flexibility, getting extra hangboard workout in, you know, checking the weather, planning everything out. There's a million different tactics that you guys can use, and I've talked about them in all my videos, and they're super disorganized, and you have to listen to me rant like I'm doing right now, but I mean, I share them with you guys because, I mean, this channel has done so much for me, because putting this kind of stuff out there, it really helps me, because, you know, you guys come and talk to me, ask me questions. I learn more than you guys probably do from your questions and from your criticisms too, you know. It's just an amazing process that climbing is, and, you know, the one thing that I can just say is, like, there's nothing that will substitute for hard work. I mean, just, it's going to take some time. It's going to take a lot of effort, but you guys can get there. I promise you that. And that thing between your ears, that's what's going to get you there. These things, that's not what it takes. It isn't. It's this. You know, the truly great climbers are the ones that believe in themselves and are willing to make the sacrifices in order to get to where they want to be. And for me, that's on top of hard boulders. And, you know, that's what I love. That's what's fun for me, you know, trying to get on top of hard boulders. You know, just the challenging aspect of it, the 100% of your body and mind, you know, and just a perfect, excellent performance to actually get everything to line up and to actually do it clean, and just, yeah, it's just as good as it gets, really. So yeah, guys, I mean, I hope if anybody made it this far in this video that you feel inspired to show up and to keep trying, you know, do the dirty work, get better at climbing, reckless abandon, you know, want it more than you want it right now, and never stop, never be satisfied either. You know, you get on top of that boulder that you dreamed about for months, years, whatever, and you're psyched, but, you know, if you feel satisfied, then I don't know, we're not on the same page, because I get on top of a boulder and I'm psyched and I'm really happy about it, and you guys can probably tell by how much I'm smirking right now, but it's just beginning, you know. It's just another thing. It's just one more tick, and then you just think about the possibilities after that, you know, and they're endless. They really are. And, you know, I'm going to continue to train hard this summer, and I'm going to continue to push myself try and become a better version of myself, better climber, and hopefully, take down more hard boulders and never stop, never be satisfied, because I don't think I ever will be, until my body can't keep up with this crazy passion that I have and this bug that I caught that I literally cannot stop climbing, and pushing myself. And I hope that in some way you guys feel inspired to do the same. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And like I said, go ahead and get in touch with me on Discord or leave a comment below. I'm interested to hear you guys' thoughts on the process, and if you need some help, I'm always willing to, kind of give you my tips and tricks and, talk to you on a personal basis, because that's a lot of the reason why I've been able to get to the point that I am, is because of you guys. So thank you so much for that, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one.